This machine has what's called a vibrating shuttle. Um, the shuttle looks like this. It's called a long shuttle. It was replaced by the modern Bobbin. And my shuttle, I had to unwind one onto a class 15J Singer Bobbin to go into another machine when I started quilting on this machine and moved to my Bernina. And I found out at that time that the shuttle holds as much thread as that class 15J Bobbin. So that made me feel really good about it. I had always worried that it held a smaller amount of thread, and so I would be more constantly winding. But the only drawback is that there's only the one shuttle for this machine at this time. So the shuttle goes into the shuttle case, or the race, and it just drops in like that. And once it's in, you put it back into the race mechanism itself that swings back and forth. And the top thread actually comes down and makes a loop around the shuttle, and the shuttle slides through it, and then the loop comes up. And then the shuttle goes back, and it makes another loop, and the shuttle comes through it. And the thread passes all the way around this without catching on any of this mechanism here that causes it to swing back and forth. And I think it's very amazing how it works. I'm going to wind a shuttle for you. I've pulled it up off of the polyester thread cone. I've brought it through the hook here. I ran it through the tension. What I found is that if I don't run it through the tension assembly, which I don't think the instructions told me to do that, but if I don't do that, I get a very loose bobbin on this end. So I've engaged the tension now by dropping the presser foot. The piece of thread goes around a hook here, and then through a hook here, and then behind the bobbin in the winder, and that's what holds it steady and keeps it from just spinning around the bobbin. I think the instructions actually said to wind several winds, but then I would have to remember which way the bobbin turns, and this is just much easier. So I've got my arm on this end where I'm starting my piece of thread, and I'm going to turn the wheel. I've disengaged the needle, so by loosening the stop knob, and as I treadle the machine, this arm goes back and forth and evenly feeds the thread onto the bobbin, onto the shuttle. So I'll just keep treadling, and the shuttle will eventually fill up with thread. Now, I get a little bit of a bigger buildup on one end than the other end, and I don't know how to fix that yet. So I won't actually fill the shuttle up completely with thread. I'll let it get so that fuller end gets to the end of the shuttle, and that's where I'll stop. I did have to replace the tire on the shuttle winder this morning. It had a very old tire on it, and I couldn't get a shuttle to wind, and I couldn't figure out why it wouldn't turn. And it's this old tire, and I think there's some kind of a buildup on the edge of the tire that was keeping it from catching on the wheel, because as soon as I changed to a new tire, it started working wonderfully. So now I have filled that up as far as it's going to let me go. I need to adjust the bobbin winder screws here to get it to not push so much thread down there. On the last bobbin that I wound, it didn't push so much thread down there. I don't know if you can see that, but see how much more thread packed onto this end than packed onto that end. And if I keep going, that will keep packing on, and then it'll eventually slide off the end of the shuttle. So I'll just stop now with what I've got, and then the next bobbin that I wind, I'll try to fix that so that it feeds evenly. Beep.